Hi, this is Rob Yates, and this is Lesson 6 of Algebra 1 in Distance Learning. If you have Ms. Boatwright, Ms. Reynolds, Mr. McCrae, Mr. Still, Mr. Strickland, or Mr. Yates for Algebra 1, you are in the right place. I remind you that you can stop this video at any time. You can rewind it and replay it. You can fast forward it. It is basically willing to do what you want it to do. Today our learning target is I can solve diamond problems given any two parts of the diamond. Let's review diamond problems. We're doing this because it's going to help us next week when we do factoring. Diamond problems, as you may recall, are what we get when we multiply the two sides, x and y, to get the top. And we add x and y to get the bottom. So the bottom is what you get when you add the two sides, and the top is what you get when you multiply the two sides. Let's take a look at our examples. I'm going to really give you some advanced math questions today. What is 3 times 1? Don't everybody answer at once. How about 3 plus 1? It's a notch up on the difficulty scale, but there you go. Pattern holds true over here. 2 times 5. You have two $5 bills. How much money do you have? Yes, you do. You have $10. How about 2 plus 5? A negative times a negative is a positive. What is negative 2 times negative 1? It's 2. How about negative 2 minus 1? Well, that's negative 3. What do you do when you know one side and the top, but you don't know the other side or the bottom? Well, you do the opposite of multiplying. The opposite of multiplying is? You said division. You are quite right. Let's take a look at this first example. We have a 10 up here at the top and a 5 on the side. So what we need to do is we need to go 10 divided by 5. Anybody know that one off the top of your head? Hopefully you don't need a calculator for it. There are 2 5s in 10. So we're going to put a 2 right here. What's 2 plus 5? You said 7. You get a lollipop. Let's take a look over here. We have a negative 6 on the top and a negative 2 on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we are going to take negative 6. Oh my goodness, having a hard time here. Negative 6 divided by. Let me start that one over. Got a little blind spot, I think, here on the screen. Negative 6 divided by negative 2, which is 3. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, just like a negative times a negative is a positive. So 3 goes over here. And what is 3 minus 2? Another difficult math question for us all, but I think we probably got it. With problems where you know the bottom and one of the sides, you do the opposite of addition, which I think we all know is subtraction. So, this first one, I'm going to go 10 minus negative 1. Make sure you do 10 minus 1 because that would be incorrect. That's a negative 1 and I'm subtracting it. When I have two minus signs together, what does that make it? If you said plus, you are correct. 10 minus negative 1 is 11. 11 goes here. What's 11 times negative 1? For our next problem, we have a negative 10 and a 0. 0's at the bottom, so we are going to subtract negative 10 from 0. Again, 2 minuses make a plus, so 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 goes here. 10 times negative 10? there you go. Now, when we know the top and the bottom, but nothing else, we have to look at what factor pairs, what two numbers multiplied together would, for instance, in the first example, equal 8. Well, you might say to yourself, why can't I just figure out what adds up to 6? The answer to that is there's lots of numbers that add up to 6, but there's only a very few number of numbers that multiplied together equal 8. Start with the big one, 1 and 8. That adds up to 9. That doesn't work. The next one in order is 2 times 4. 2 plus 4 is 6, so these are our numbers. But ask yourself this, are there any other whole numbers that multiplied together equal 8? Some of the sharper folks out there might have said 4 times 2 instead of 2 times 4, and they would be correct. But basically, 2 and 4 and 1 and 8 are our only choices. All right, let's take a look at this next one. We got 15 on top and we got 8 on the bottom. Well, factors of 15. 1 and 15. 2 doesn't go into 15 evenly, and we're only looking for numbers that go in evenly. 3 does, however. 3 times 5 is 15. What's 3 plus 5? Oh yeah, I think you're getting the hang of it now. All right. When our sum is negative and our product is positive, in other words, what it's multiplied out to be is positive and what it adds up to is negative, that really means that what we have is two negative numbers, because the only way you can have a positive product and a negative sum is if it's a negative times a negative. So 1 times 12, no, that adds up to negative 13. How about negative 2 times negative 6? Again, the product would be correct. It would be 12, but it adds up to negative 8. How about negative 3 and negative 4? Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. So those are our lucky numbers. Are there any other numbers that we needed to check? No, they're not. Those are our choices, basically. Now, when your product is negative and your sum is negative, what that means is you have a positive and a negative, because that's the only way you can get a negative product. Positive times a negative, because a positive times a positive is obviously positive, and a negative times a negative is also positive. So, how about positive 1 and negative 8? What's 1 minus 8? If you guessed negative 7, you are correct. That's a negative. So in summary, in a diamond problem, the top number is what of both sides? Turn off the video now and ask yourself what that is. Hopefully you tried. It's the product. What happens when we multiply? And the bottom number is the sum. What happens when we add of the sides? To solve a diamond problem where you don't know either side number, start by finding what of the top number. Turn the video off and think about that for a second before you turn it back on to find out the answer. Hopefully you did give yourself a time to think about it. It's the factor pairs, the two numbers that we multiply together to get the top number. What's next? Log into Khan Academy. Go to student.desmos.com. Try practice worksheet 6. Try Google Homework 6. Remember, you need to do 3 homeworks each week. And now, for today's joke. What do you call a pig that does karate? pork chop. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.